I'd like to call the Derry Conservation Commission meeting to order and ask everybody to silence their cell phones, including myself. And we're going to start things off with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, emergency exits are located in the back of the room and to my right. If anybody, if we have an emergency, please use those exits and use the stairs, not an elevator. If you need help during an emergency, please ask help of one of the commissioners. Before we start the meeting, we're going to start off with a introduction of commissioners, and we'll start all the way to my right.
Christopher Morlock.
Cheryl Holbert.
Jay Hildreth.
Rick Metz.
Bob Spoerl.
Eileen Chabot.
Pamela Pirro. Linda Comrie.
Elizabeth Carver, land manager.
And I'm the chair, Riccardo, Buzzanga. So, commissioners, help me. I know that Val is not here, and she is the only full-time commissioner that is absent, correct?
Yep.
So I am going to have Pam, will you sit? Sit for Val? Okay, great, thank you. We are going to have a non-public tonight after the meeting. It shouldn't be very long, it should be fairly brief. And we'll start things off with the approval of minutes from March 2nd, 2026. Everyone should have had a chance to look at them. I'll accept any amendments or recommendation to accept.
I propose to amend for the non-public to public motions that occurred after Tammy was done recording.
To what?
What's the amendment, Jay?
The amendments are going to be to add the information after we came out of the non-public into the public. It will be the vote, the roll call to seal the amendments, the time we came out of the non-public, and then the adjournment of the public meeting. Again, those are not recorded because Tammy's not there, so we have to add them.
Because you weren't present because you were doing it from home. Is that why? Okay.
So.
All right. So let's hear that motion one more time, Jay, just because so everybody follows along.
Okay. I'm motioning for tonight that we amend the March 2nd meeting minutes to include the following motions. When we come out of the non-public meeting into the public, and then the roll call to seal the meeting minutes, and then the motions, second and roll call for the adjournment of the public meeting.
Okay, there's a motion on the floor. Before we have a second, let's have discussion on that motion. Any discussion on that motion?
I thought that when we go to non-public, that's a separate set of minutes, and sealing those minutes, like that's a separate set of minutes that we undertake to seal, not combined with our regular meeting minutes. That's my understanding.
Yeah, I understand that to be the same way.
Okay.
So what, we were asked by the town clerk to do this some time ago, and
To combine them with the regular meeting
Jay,
minutes? 'Cause
I have
that's-
it will not contain any information about the non-public. It's only when we come out of the non-public to record that time, and now we're back into the public, because the
Okay.
public meeting was not adjourned. So what we're doing in that time was we're sealing the minutes, if that's a motion. So we do this, the motion, the second, and the roll call.
Oh, okay, I see what you're saying.
Just that.
And
okay.
now,
Now I
we're at
understand.
the
But the
point we
minutes
need
of
to
the
adjourn the
non-public,
public meeting
right.
with The motion, the second, and the roll call.
Okay, so, yeah, I'm going to, this is continued discussion on the motion. So because we went dark and Tammy was watching from home,
Okay,
she was not able to, if I'm understanding this right, she was not able to witness that part of the meeting
right.
because we went dark.
Yep.
Okay, so that's why. That's the.
Oh, okay, that's why,
Gotcha.
all right.
All right. So, all right. Now I understand it more thoroughly now. All right. So because we went dark and she was taking minutes from home,
Yep.
not in person, correct, Tammy?
She would leave during a non-public anyway.
During non-public. So Jay will prepare the non-public minutes. And
Right, because those are a separate set of minutes. That,
it's a separate set of minutes that are added to the public minutes. It's just the information that's required in those public minutes. Jay will prepare them. We add them onto our regular minutes.
Yeah, that will be for going forward. However, for March 2nd, we didn't do this process. What I'm
Okay.
trying to do
Is fix that process?
Clean it up.
is
Okay.
actually send her the information for the non-public to public that's required, and so she can actually add it to her draft meeting minutes, and it will be all complete. There'll be no further need to amend. But that's going to be for this night's non-public going into the future. Tonight, we need to approve the minutes with the amendment for me to add this information that I just discussed to the March 2nd.
Okay.
So I will do that when the meeting's over.
Tammy, you got to speak on the mic though, because it's got to go on the record. So if your mic doesn't work, speak on Jay's mic or Rick's mic.
So Jay will amend tonight's meeting, and in the future, we'll have a second set of non-public minutes.
Okay. So this is just to fix the meeting from last week.
Right.
Is that
Yep.
from our last meeting?
March 2nd.
March 2nd. Okay. So there's a first on the floor. Is anyone willing to second that motion?
I will second that motion now that I understand what it was.
Okay, so we have a first and a second on the floor. All those in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposition? I'm going to abstain. So it'll be aye with one abstention, please. Okay. Chair's report. We're busy, real busy. Beth and I continue to have our weekly telephone calls and discussions. And most recently, and we'll share more about it during Beth's report, we've come up with the prioritization. Thank you, Beth. on her tasks, and we have a little matrix that we'll be sharing with the commission probably next meeting on how we're gonna prioritize our work, because it's building up. A couple of things coming up between this meeting and the next is we have our kind of kickoff to the CWPP meeting a week from Wednesday?
So next Wednesday is the CWPP panel.
Yeah, that's the panel. So I'll be attending that, and Charlie Foot's going to attend that. So that's on our horizon. And like I said, we continue to work. Our subcommittees are continuing to work. We have a lot of work in the pipeline, and we'll share more of that during Beth's report. As far as correspondence, we have a couple of letters from DES that I'll pass to my right. One is a letter of compliance, another one is a wetlands rule waiver request. Those are going to my right first, and they'll come down the other way. Other correspondence, everyone has that CWPP flyer in front of you that I just talked about. And we are going to move right into our site review our easement review for Ashleigh Drive. So if you guys could come up and you could start your process, just state your name for the record in the mic. Let's try to keep all this stuff on the mic so it's recorded properly.
Good evening, Chair, members of the board, commission, excuse me. My name is Haley Palazzola of GFI Partners at 133 Pearl Street in Boston, Massachusetts. And I'm here with...
Good evening, Brendan Quigley, wetland scientist with Gove Environmental Services.
Thank you for having us this evening. Here on behalf of Ashleigh Drive Property Owner, LLC, which we are the new property owner of 41 Ashleigh Drive and 37 Scobie Pond Road as of September of 2025. We're back here in front of you. Me personally, my first time. I know the previous owner was in front of the commission in September of 2025, asking the commission to accept long-term stewardship of the management plan associated with the proposed conservation area, easement area, excuse me, totaling approximately 28.7 acres. After listening to that meeting and reviewing with Brendan, we went back and modified the stewardship plan to put more of the burden on the property owner and less responsibility on the stewards, yourself, to basically take responsibility for replacing signage. We amended the document to specify the annual walk, how often would need to be inspected, and the responsibilities once anything was inspected or needed to be addressed. And that was reflected in the updated red line that we prepared in the packets for the commission. In addition to the initial sum of the $7,500 that we're putting into this fund, the stewardship fund, we've proposed an annual sum of $1,000 to be paid in perpetuity forever for necessary responsibilities of the grantee. I will also just add that these proposed changes to this document have been submitted and reviewed and approved by both New Hampshire DES and U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. Not sure if Brendan, if you want to add anything to that, but that's an overview.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty good overview up to this point. You know, our main goal from the last time we were here was to, you know, make the responsibilities of the commission in carrying out the stewardship clearer, and also to make the whole documents set clearer with respect to details, which I think, like, I hope we have achieved.
Thank you.
Great, thanks for coming. So, commissioners, in speaking with Mike Fowler, the way that the protocol on this project is going to go, we're going to have tonight's review. If the commission is satisfied with the updated document and any changes that we would want to make to that document, and if the applicant is willing to accept those changes this evening, then we would go to a vote, a roll call vote, to recommend that the it'll be made in the affirmative, and we'll make a vote to recommend that the easement be accepted by the town. That will be voted either yay or nay. If we have a majority vote on having the town accept the easement, then it would go to the city council, and the city council would then vote on it again at their meeting. If it goes to a yes or a no, and then so that recommendation would go to them, and then we would determine who the signatory would be on that document, whether it be the chair of the Conservation Commission or the president of the city council. So I have some notes. I had Beth and I had Beth do a deep dive on the easement. I did a deep dive on it. I'm sure some other commissioners have looked at it. I'm going to share my thoughts on it first, and maybe the applicants can take some notes, and then so we'll do all of our sharing first. We'll have the applicant respond to that, and then we'll go from there. We've allocated 30 minutes for this discussion, so we have some time to spend some time on it. So I'm going to go through my list. I may defer to Beth through this process because we have some shared notes. In section 8C, there's a clause that says that provided the grantor is directly or primarily responsible for a breach. It talks about if there's something going on the property that requires mitigation, that the grantor, which would be the property owner or the easement kind of grantor, if you will, would be responsible to mitigate those problems. It wouldn't be the obligation of the town or the Conservation Commission to rectify a problem on the property. But I'm troubled a little bit by that quote, because if a third party goes onto the property and causes damage to that property, this particular clause would kind of allow the grantor to not address that mitigation, which would be left on us to deal with that mitigation. You follow me on that? Does everybody follow me on that?
If it wasn't satisfactory, you mean? If
No.
that third party didn't conduct the mitigation satisfactorily? Or?
No, so if it wasn't caused by the grantor, if it was caused by a third party,
Correct.
let's
Okay.
say someone dumped a pile of, I don't know, shingles on the property.
Okay.
It wasn't them that dumped it, it wasn't us that dumped it,
Right,
someone else
exactly.
that dumped it.
Yep.
I see that clause as potentially having us bear the expense of removing those shingles. Follow me?
Yep. Gotcha.
And I have a problem with that. So that's my first item. I don't need a response on it, but that was my first item that Beth picked off on the easement. The second item is that Section 14 states that the easement and we'll call the non-easement, the property that's not in the easement, are handled as two separate parcels, right? And there could be, and I need probably your scientist's position on this. There could be some question on whether or not the 20-foot setback requirement is met, because there's a setback that's, I think, within that 20-foot area between the conservation easement and the non-conservation easement. At least that's the way it's shown on your plan. I'm going to just keep going while you're looking. The management plan states that the easement is reviewed a minimum of once every 10 years, and then the easement states that it'll be reviewed every 5 years. So we just need some clarification on that. Also, there's two Section 12s in the easement, so we probably need to number those a little differently. And I'm just going to keep going. I'm not hogging all the time. I'm just going to go down my list, and if you guys have other stuff you want to add, you can. We need to know who the grantee is going to report their findings to.
Exactly.
There's nowhere in that explains who we're reporting those to. If we're reporting them to you guys, to DES, to Fish and Game, to our town officials. And then the last one is, and we might be able to revisit this once you get into the building, once you get into the build out of the building, the snow storage is shown right next to the prime wetland, and we try to keep snow storage away from prime wetlands. We'd rather that they are furthest from the prime wetland, so the snow and the debris in the snow has an opportunity to get treated before it hits the prime wetland. And the last piece that I have is that, and I think the commission should take this up for discussion. The $1,000 annual payment to the commission is in perpetuity, which means that 200 years from now, there's going to be a group of commissioners sitting at this podium talking about conservation land, and they're going to be picking up $1,000 from these folks to do the work. I'm going to guess that $1,000 in 200 years is not going to be worth the same as $1,000 right now. So I want to put some sort of escalator in the contract. The one that I came up with when I looked at similar contracts was that the amount would go up 10% every 5-year period, which is a 2% increase per year, or increase to a mutually agreed upon amount. So it could either default to 2%, or if the grantor and the grantee want to agree on some other number. If maybe, I don't know, maybe we're not using dollars anymore, we're using rubles, that they'll agree on that. And Beth, I want to just defer to you. Did I cover everything that we talked about, do you think?
Yep, that's what's on my list, yep.
Okay, cool. All right, so that's all I have. Do you guys want to take any of that up now, or do you want us to continue?
Yeah, if we can just pick off a couple of the
Yeah, let's go
quick
for it.
ones. So I think the intent was to have the stewardship plan reviewed, easement plan reviewed every 10 years versus every 5 years. Go ahead, Brendan.
Yeah, that's a small change that can be made in the deed. In fact, because the 10 years is we feel the correct number, and that was clarified in the last couple of months. With
So
DES.
you're going to change the easement to reflect 10 years? Is that what you're going to
Yes.
do? Okay.
The next one relates, sorry, I'm kind of going out of order here, if that's okay. To handle the $1,000 payment in perpetuity, instead of a CPI number, which we can't really predict, would the commission accept a 2% increase annually? So $1,000 and then a 2% annual increase?
The only reason I did it, that it would be done during that 5-year period, it's just so you wouldn't have to make the adjustment every year.
Okay.
So you could just make the adjustment every 5 years. But now that we're not reviewing every 5 years, we're reviewing every 10 years, then that may not be quite as prudent as I originally. I thought we were going to go back to I thought your answer to the 5 and 10 year was going to be 5 years. Now that it's 10 years, I just don't want to add another layer of review. Do people agree with that?
I think 2% a year.
Yeah, so you want to just so I think we'll vote this all together at the end. But so if we're going to do 10-year reviews, then probably 2% is a better idea than waiting every 5 years.
Okay.
And I'm just speaking for myself. It's going to have to be obviously ratified by the commission.
We definitely have 2 number 12s. We apologize in reading in red line. Sometimes you don't pick up the cleanup. So I think it's supposed to go add a number. We just need to go 12, 13, 14. So we'll clean that up. 8C. I just want to review 8C with you, if that's okay. And the grantor fails to take such. All right, so just so I understand the concern, if there was to be a third-party breach, and the grantee, the town of Derry through its commission, would have to, expend costs to fix this breach, is the concern then who pays for those costs? I would still think that would fall under the grantor.
Yeah, the idea for this whole section really is outlining the rights and the procedures the grantee would take to fix issues. And I think it's pretty clear that the intent here is that the grantee, while they might incur costs initially to initiate a remedy, that those costs are recoverable and ultimately the responsibility of either the grantor or the third party that is responsible for the breach.
All right, so then maybe you could add some language that would make this commission feel more comfortable about either striking, quote, provide that the grantor is directly or primarily responsible for the breach. So you could either maybe consider striking that, or you could add language at the end of that section that the grantee would not be responsible for the mitigation of deficiencies that were caused by a third party. Either one of those things I think would probably be acceptable to us.
I think it's cleaner. I think
Yeah,
it'd be
that's
cleaner if
that's
you-
going to have to be reviewed with, I think we've identified a couple of minor errors that we can obviously correct in here, but anything of substance like that is probably
I just
gonna
want to
have
run it by our lawyer, just on the language, make sure it's clear,
Yeah.
but I don't think we, in general, have a problem with the intent.
I agree that the spirit of the document lays the burden of mitigation on you and not on us. So if you can agree to the spirit of the document, is that we could potentially move this along?
Okay.
Yeah. Am I right in setting those expectations? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So long as the, any costs associated with responsibility of the grantor or a third party is not the commission or the grantee, yes, we can agree to that.
Yeah.
Yes. I believe, did I miss any?
I might not have been following, and I apologize if that's the case. Section 14, the concern there was what exactly?
Give me some background on it.
Do you-
It says separate parcel is the.
Oh, yeah, the
separate
setback.
Separate parcel.
Yeah, do you meet that 20-foot setback if that is a separate parcel? Because assuming that easement is actually somewhat, like if there was two owners there, you'd have to have the 20-foot setback, and I'm not sure if you do. If you don't, then you're going to have to get a waiver for that, and you might be fine in doing that. But I think it's important for us to bring it up.
I don't know the
Yeah, that's a technical question. I'm
Well-
not sure of either.
Does the easement, that subdivides the property. Am I correct or incorrect?
I
Does it
don't believe-
subdivide the property?
I don't believe
No,
so, no.
it's not a separate
No, it's
lot.
not a
All right,
separate lot.
So then there wouldn't, in my opinion, there wouldn't be a setback requirement.
So
It's not a separate
If you're
lot.
not establishing a property line
But
for
it
the
do-
easement.
Yeah,
Not.
not. But it says in the document that it is a separate
Right.
parcel.
Yeah, so section 14, the title is separate parcel, and says that it shall be treated as a separate parcel. The easement area shall be deemed a separate parcel of land and shall not be
Exactly.
taken into account in determining whether any land of the grantor other than the property complies with any said legal requirements. The easement area shall not be taken into account to satisfy in whole or in part any of said legal requirements or any area density setback, so the setback is the concern, or other dimensional standard applicable to such land.
So that being said, it's not our purview, but it's our obligation to bring it up to you. It doesn't affect anything that is under our purview, but it is now on the record, and it's something that you're going to probably have to address with the folks in the building department or the next step along the way. So I think we've satisfied our burden in bringing it up, and I don't think you need to satisfy us any further on it. And I think you've covered everything that I brought up. Is someone taking notes? You are? Something that we could turn into a motion at some point? Okay, great, thanks. All right, that's all. Any other commissioners, anybody else want to chime in on, if you guys are good?
We're
Yeah.
good.
Anyone else want to chime in on this Ashleigh Drive easement? And have any questions or comments? Or Christopher, I'm acknowledging you first. Go ahead, Christopher.
I just had one question about the interest. Should there be language stipulating if that's going to be simple or compounding per year? Because it would make a difference
On the
over,
payment schedule, you're talking, Christopher, right?
Oh, for the
Yes.
2%, you mean?
Yeah.
yeah, on the 2%, because it would make a difference over a long period.
I would be comfortable with annually.
Simple 2% or
Yeah.
compounded 2%?
2% annually.
Simple.
Anyone else? Bob?
Just questioning, so the easement is, there's a line, easement, non-easement. Is that going to be monumented for future monitoring?
Yes,
Okay,
yes,
just wanted to be sure.
Yeah,
yes. It is a requirement
Yeah,
under
you
the
guys are in the
permit.
middle of doing that right now, I
Some
think.
plans show the bounds or show the angle point. It doesn't reference that it's going to be a bound set or anything, but if you guys already, I may not have seen the earlier plan, the later plan.
Yeah, there'll be conservation plaques nailed to the trees every
Okay,
100 feet, or probably a little more than that, but
75 feet.
I think it was 75.
I think
Yeah,
it's
we-
75 feet.
We actually
We
have
actually-
that as a
yes.
discussion item later on in the meeting.
okay,
Yeah,
sorry.
that's okay. Anybody else on this side? Jay?
Yes, I had concerns that some stipulations on communications be laid out. Maybe it doesn't need to be within this agreement because over perpetuity it may change, but basically a courtesy that the inspection date could be, laid out as a certain range of time, between June and August, and that who do we report it to? Should there be a form that we use to officially, present to the grantee? And if there are any non-inspection events that occurs on the property that requires, the attention to the Conservation Commission, how that would be done. So
Actually, Jay brought up a good point. I don't think you answered the who the report to question.
Yeah.
Right? Haley, that was one of our,
Yes.
yeah.
yeah.
So maybe you can go like who and when, maybe.
Yeah.
Do a double-parted answer. So pick a day in the summertime, when there's not snow on the ground, and then,
it should be, it would make the most sense to do the inspections during the growing season, or at least without snow cover.
So do you have a proposed?
I would say, I would suggest, I'm just a cook, but I would suggest maybe August, September, when more of the land would be observable and walkable versus
yeah, like
when
fall.
the snow goes, I'm not walking that in April and May, I can tell you that right now.
Right. That's
So
best.
that's, again, personal opinion.
How about we make a recommendation as a commission? How about September? And who are we telling?
So we can add, section 10 has a notice section. We could add specifics to where the notices go for the current property owner, and it sounds like we maybe need to add a section on if the property is then sold, like what's the, how did the property owner notify the long-term steward of the change of ownership, right? Whether it be 10 days after the closing or something. I don't think it has anything like that, but we can add that, if that makes sense.
All right, so we're going to do the monitoring in September, then we're going to notify the owner of record. Does that sound good?
Yeah, the owner of record.
Yeah, I just wasn't sure if it was DES or your environmentalist. I didn't know if it was like one of the agencies or if it was the owner of record.
It could be, in all cases, you should start with the owner of record.
Yeah, so let's go with that.
And it, that it is your right to escalate things if you feel that things are not being addressed.
Right, no, if there's a deficiency.
Right. There's
then
a
we're
deficiency,
gonna, yeah, that's
you can
different.
always
Yeah.
bring it to the attention of of DES or Fish and Game.
Right, so that, we're obligated to do that. I'm saying if there were zero efficiencies, our regular report, everything looks great, who are we sending it to?
Oh, the property owner of record.
If there's a deficiency, then we're obligated to report to the proper authorities. So let's go owner of record in September. Is that good? Jay, anything else? Thank you for that.
That's it.
Okay, this side. Eileen, what do you got?
I know we talked about the stewardship plan review would be every 10 years, but when we talk about what we just discussed, the inspection, that would be once a year, correct? Okay. One other thing I kind of was concerned about in reading the language about, of course, the public is not allowed on the easement, but it also said in there that there would be no opportunities for any kind of environmental education activities, that was kind of prohibited. I was wondering about why that was, because I think that particular easement might be a great opportunity for environmental education of our young people, and if there was some opportunity at all to incorporate that or not.
We were not.
Because the property has rare and endangered species, for instance, say. And the easement documents talked over and over about how the goals are wildlife habitat management, correct? And so, and it talked about the possibility of putting bridges in and such like that. So if there were bridges or some sort of conveyance over the wetlands that would allow school children perhaps to come visit and learn about rare and endangered species in a wetland, I think that would be an opportunity we wouldn't want to overlook if it were possible. I just wanted to bring that up.
For this specific parcel, we're not proposing any public access.
No public access whatsoever, not even environmental education. Okay.
I think the thing that's really non-negotiable, because it was established quite a while ago when we were talking with Fish and Game about this, is that this not become, or that, trails and things of that nature. This is not
Yeah, I'm
what
not
this
asking
is.
for trails, but if there was some way to,
I'm not sure that it's absolutely prohibited to have an educational opportunity, but I guess it
but it
couldn't
would
rely
prohibit
on
access. So
bridges.
it would prohibit access, so it would prohibit them from actually seeing the natural resources that are out there and the species that are out there. It just seemed, to be honest with you and to be frank, it seemed to read, because I reread both documents, comprehensively, and it seemed to read like this easement was going to be turned into like a wildlife management refuge, as it were, like no public access. We'd only inspect it once a year. It's going to be, managed perhaps by Fish and Game as they saw fit, or DES as they saw fit, perhaps. But other than that, there really wasn't going to be any opportunities for anyone else to really, I guess, realize any potential environmental awareness, environmental education opportunities. It just seems like we're losing out on that aspect of things. Just seemed to read to me that it's more like a wildlife refuge, and nobody's allowed, except the animals. So, I don't know. That was my take on it.
All right, thank you, Eileen. Anyone else down there?
I do have 2 points to bring up that commissioners brought up, which is what you all would like to use for a boundary. If you would like to use the, the small, like 4x4 round Derry Conservation Commission metal tags attached to trees. That was a question. And And Jay mentioned a
But
form.
I'm going to just interrupt you. So that one we're going to take up outside of this. 'cause-
Oh, we are?
Yeah, we'll take that
Okay.
up. Yeah, because it doesn't really, they know they're going to put them up. We just got to decide what we
Okay,
want.
gotcha. And then, or is there a form that the grantor would be providing that we will then fill out? Or do we need to develop a form to fill out as far as like our annual monitoring goes?
I actually want to chime in on that also. I think we want to develop the form.
I'm sorry, you want a form to be,
We want to develop the form.
that would be my recommendation too.
Yeah. Let's develop the form, because we know we want to. It'll probably be developed on our first assessment, because we'll be able to, we'll develop the form.
And it doesn't have to be the same form every,
Yeah.
you might want for consistency, but you also might want to
Sure.
revise that at some point.
All right, so we're going to have, is that, did everyone chime in that wanted to chime in? Okay,
Can I,
go
a
ahead.
couple
So-
editorial comments?
Sure.
I know you guys got into this after the whole easement was set with the state and all of that stuff, and we didn't have a lot of input into it. My personal opinion is there's no need for us to take over this land if the townspeople can't use it. That's my biggest beef with this whole thing. You can't walk it, you can't use it, you can't do anything on it. And if somebody does anything on it, supposedly they're trespassing. I have a problem with that.
I
You got
agree with
20
you, Rick.
You got 26 acres of land in there. And that's the second part of my editorial comment. You got 26 acres of land in there that we're being asked to accept a conservation easement. Not really being asked. I'm going to tell you that. The state did all the background work. With all deference to my friends that work for the state. The state did all the background work. They got all the money up front. And then you guys bought this thinking that it was a done deal. Am I correct or incorrect in that assessment?
That's correct.
Okay.
Yes.
So that sticks in my craw. I'm a townie, so I grew up here. My mom grew up here. I raised my kids here. Accepting 26 acres, and this is the other part of my beef. This land sits in a TIF district in town that was established to fund a project through the incremental tax funding. And now we're taking half of that property out of that, 19 of which is upland out of 26, 27. We're taking that out of development and getting very little in return, in my opinion, because we can't use the property. Those are my editorial comments. It's not going to change anything in this paperwork, but those are the issues that I have with this particular document and procedure, and end game is basically what it is. That's just my opinion.
Thank you, Mr. Metz, for your passionate opinion. I think it's shared by many. Okay, so we're going to have a dialogue and develop a motion. As I mentioned at the beginning, motions have to be made in the affirmative. So we're going to make a motion to recommend that the town council accept the easement on behalf of the town of Derry. And it's going to be with the following exceptions. So we have to develop those following exceptions or changes. So we're gonna build that document now, and then we're gonna have a motion and have a vote. So let's have this. Let's build that motion. So the first thing on that motion is, Mr. Metz, you want to write the whole
Yep.
thing? Okay.
I'm working on it.
All right, so the first one is the 2% annual increase to the $1,000 payment. Everyone's in agreement on that, right? And the second one was, what do you have, Mr. Metz?
I have report annually in September to the owner of record, using our own form and criteria.
Okay, good. And anything else?
Renumbering the sections, section 12 becomes 14, and those after 14 are now changed accordingly.
12 becomes 13, right?
12 becomes 13, yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah. So we can just maybe...
No,
No,
How about we
it
just say...
goes 12, 13, 12, so that second 12 has to become 14. Then 14 becomes 15, 15, 16, and so on and so on.
Okay.
That's correct.
All right, so you want to just say fix the numbering on the, or do you want to...
I'd rather do it that way,
All right, do it that way.
if you can.
All right, now, How do we address the spirit of the mitigation? Do you have anything on that?
Unless Tammy,
So I'll take a stab at that. The applicant agrees that the Conservation Commission in the town is not responsible for third-party deficiencies discovered during our assessments.
Can you say that again, Rick?
The applicant agrees that the Conservation Commission in the town are not responsible for third-party deficiencies. That sound right? Bob,
Not
yes?
responsible for mitigating third-party deficiencies?
For the cost of, how about the cost of?
Cost of?
Yeah. Does that sound good? Does it sound good to you guys?
Yep.
Sound good to you guys? Okay, good. We got the 2%, we got the September. We're fixing that the management plan and the easement are both going to be 10 years. Well, the easement's going to be 10 years, not 5 years. We got the report 2 done. I think that's all I have. Does anyone have anything else?
I actually have a thought.
Go ahead,
I just
yeah.
wondered in the spirit, if we're talking about that regarding using it for educational purposes.
Yeah.
And I heard a little bit, if maybe I was mistaken, a little bit of wiggle room on that there could be possibly exceptions. Is it possible to develop a list of criteria that could be met? And if those criteria are met, an exception can be made and it can be used for educational purposes. So it's not just a never, no, can't happen. That there's a list of criteria under certain circumstances. If they are met, yes, this can be used in this instance for educational purposes, and each can be reviewed independently. So an application would be made by a group, by a group, a school group, or this group, any group that would want to observe, do what we've heard here. If we meet that criteria, if they meet that criteria, they, in a specific time and place, can then indeed use the land for that purpose. And then each time subsequently, it would be another application for an exception.
You want,
From a property ownership standpoint, I would just need to speak with the owners. And I don't know if that goes of the,
yeah,
I didn't see a tent of the conservation of the easement.
I don't think it does. I think there's 2 issues. One is just strictly the owner needs to know who else is going on the property, obviously. But the deed does allow for various other things that would otherwise be restricted to in fact take place if they are consistent with the conservation
Goals.
measures of
Yeah, the goals, right.
the whole document. I would think that education, it just seemed like something that would probably fit within that. I think it would probably more be an access issue.
Yeah, parking, access. I would just need to run it by attorneys in the property ownership group, just because, well, not as important as the conservation area. There will be an industrial development here with hopefully a couple of tenants or a tenant who will occupy the premises, and I would just need to figure out access, parking associated with educational uses, just for safety
Sure.
protocols. So I'd have to get back to the commission about that. So I don't know how we proceed from here for tonight's purposes, but I don't have an answer for you.
Okay, so that does change the dynamics a bit. So we're going to have to take a vote on whether or not that portion is going to be put into our motion. If I'm reading the board correctly. Am I reading the board correctly? Yes. Okay, so, Mr. Metz, do you want to make a motion on whether or not we want to add that the easement can be used for educational purposes and have that clause be added to the motion that we're going to make on whether or not we're going to vote to accept this easement?
You're going to put conditions on that, educational?
I would defer to Cheryl. It's her discussion.
Cheryl, you going to put any specific conditions on that, or?
I guess the condition would be whether it would be just sort of an absolute no all the time, or if there would be, say, under certain circumstances, criteria could be met, such as there's a drop-off instead of parking, or, you know, just creative solutions to where that could happen if criteria are met for a special exception, or if it's just always a no in all circumstances. That is what the clarification I need.
Can you put that in a motion, Rick?
I'm working on something. so
Okay.
hang on. No one can read this except me, so.
I know, so it's all you. All right, so once you make a motion, I'm going to ask for discussion on the motion, so just so you know, we're going to hash it out a little more.
Right. But I also don't think it's something that is strictly prohibited.
I'm trying to be respectful. I just honestly can't make the decision myself here. So I'd need to go back and talk to the team about the request.
All right, here we go. I would like to move that the easement in question be used for certain educational purposes consistent with wildlife management, wetlands preservation, and in any other forms of environmental education while preserving the area. How's that?
Everyone get that motion? Is there a second on the motion?
Second.
So there's a second, first by Mr. Metz, second by Cheryl. So we're going to have discussion on the motion. So this motion is to whether or not we're going to add that provision in our motion to accept the easement, or are we not going to add that motion, that language in the motion to accept the easement? My discussion is that this is an industrial zone, a commercial zone, and I can't imagine that we're going to have any educational possibilities on this particular property. I additionally think that conservation easements should be used by the public, so it's a struggle for me. But I can't imagine someone going in the Walmart parking lot, which is in the same TIF, which also has a small environmental easement on it, that we would drop off people to play in that drainage ditch at Walmart. So I would be a no vote on adding that motion. Any other discussion on the motion? Hearing none. So we're going to do a roll call vote. Chris, you are not sitting, correct? Cheryl, we'll start with you. Do you want to add, a yay vote would be that you want to add the motion. A nay vote would be you don't want to add the motion. Roll call vote. Cheryl.
Yes, I'd like to add the motion.
Jay.
No.
Mr. Metz.
Unfortunately, no.
Bob.
Yes.
Eileen.
Yes.
You're sitting? Yes? You're not sitting?
Not sitting.
And I'm a no. What's the count?
4-3.
So motion carries on a 4-3 vote. 4 yeses. Okay, so motion carries. So we're going to add that provision into this motion, which I know is going to change things a little bit for you. You have a new motion. Are we done talking about this? Yes? All right, so Mr. Metz, if you have a bigger motion.
Do you want that last part read in as well?
Yeah, it's a provision. It has to be now.
First, add a 2% interest addition per year to the $1,000 initial stipend. 2, do an assessment in September annually and report to the owner of record of the property with our own form. 3, renumber the sections in the easement report. 12 becomes 4, the second 12 becomes 14, and the rest are numbered accordingly. Applicant agrees. Number 4, mitigation. Applicant agrees Derry Conservation Commission not responsible for for the cost of third-party deficiencies discovered during our annual assessment. Monitor and report on the easement over a 10-year period, or at a 10-year period. And finally, the easement is to be used for, may be used for certain educational purposes consistent with wildlife management, wetlands preservation, and any other forms of environmental education while preserving the area in question.
There's a first on the floor, and that, you have to actually add to that. You read the conditions, right? That was the conditions?
Yep.
All right, so, and those conditions are going to be added to a motion of what? That we have the city council,
Town council.
We
the town
yeah.
council. Yeah, so you got to add that part.
And therefore, we recommend that the Town Council of Derry, New Hampshire accept the conservation easement at 41 Ashleigh Drive with the conditions set forth in this motion.
Okay. So is everyone clear on that? So we're asking, the motion would be that we're asking the town council to accept the easement with the conditions provided by Mr. Metz. And that motion's on the floor for a first. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
All right, so there's a first and second on the floor. Discussion on this motion. So this motion goes to the applicant. A yea vote would be that we send this to the commission, but the applicant has not agreed to the terms of this motion. They've agreed to a portion of the terms. A nay vote would be that we do not send. No, a nay vote would be that we do not recommend that the town council accept this easement.
Wait again. Go over that again. A yay.
A yay.
Is with the amendments
With
that
the
we're
amendments.
providing. A nay would be that we're recommending not to.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so a
okay.
yea would be that we're recommending that the council accept the easement. A nay would be that we recommend that the council does not accept the easement. I think this needs further discussion because the applicant has not agreed
Right.
to the terms set forth in the last part of that motion. So I think our vote and recommendation to the town council is going to be with this asterisk or this addendum that the applicant has not agreed to those terms.
It's premature.
Yeah. Yes, so.
Can I ask a question?
Any more discussion on
of you
this?
folks? Does the state have any more say in this, or have they washed their hands of it and let it be as it lies? Are they playing it as it lies, or are they open to amendments, or do you have to go back to them at all? Because they're the ones that came
Yeah, I
up with
would.
this.
I wouldn't say they've washed their hands of it. They're interested in seeing it finalized. I don't see a need to go back to them for the small amendments we're talking about here.
It's not an integral part of the.
It's
Easement with the
not
DES.
it's not highly substantive. I think it falls into the category of clarifying things which are otherwise, I believe, the intent.
I would say that we would need to go back for the wildlife educational visits, though. Because I think just thinking about this logistically, parking, the public now gaining access to the property, right? There becomes a liability. There's a lot of things that I think would need to be considered. And that's why I'm not in a position to accept the proposal. It's not a no, it's just I need more information logistically.
It might be helpful if I clarify what I was thinking. I wasn't, like, I'm not picturing school buses and you're parking near an industrial. I'm imagining something more like there's this, this is endangered species that a researcher from a university needs access to study that species. So that might be one person that comes. So to me, it's like it does matter if it's if it's a complete no one ever has access, or if there are, as I said, special exceptions, special circumstances where, hearing that it could be something endangered, that it would be like really important to investigate that. So it's really depending on how that's viewed.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't see something near an industrial park as something that, you've got like school children coming every week. The special exception part to me means if there's something outstanding within the natural environment that really, compels that to be looked at. Mm-hmm. Is there a provision? Is there a certain set of criteria that perhaps a researcher, someone, could pass through, pass in order to do that? I'm thinking more about that. Or is it just like completely shut? That could never happen. And that is a question. It's more clarification.
Before you answer, just to continue this discussion. Cheryl, this is your motion, right? So would something that sounded more like keeping the possibility open that on a per case basis, mm-hmm. with the approval of the property owner, that the conservation easement could be used for certain educational purposes?
Educational/research.
Research. I'm even thinking more research. Yes,
right.
That's more what I'm getting at.
Educational
no
research.
school
Yes.
children, Cheryl. No school children whatsoever would be allowed.
Well, hearing. I mean, I would have to hear more, and I didn't do the site walk. And that would be, something you all can discuss.
Yeah, I did the site walk, and I just feel like we're missing out on an opportunity. Mm-hmm. And if it was done right, I can't see why a field trip or two couldn't be made for school children, and very carefully made. But I just feel like we're losing out on a valuable opportunity to educate our children here in Derry.
So Haley, if the motion, the additional addendum to our bigger motion, was changed from the one that was stated to something that said that the conservation easement portion of the property, with the approval of the property owner on a case-by-case basis, could be used for educational research projects, would that satisfy your position? It would. That being said, is that what the spirit of what the commission is? Something more like that?
I think that's a no.
Yeah? Yes? I'm hearing no. One no. Yes. Looks like 2 no's and 4 yeses. So that being the case, and because it's your motion, Cheryl, do you want to amend your motion to something like that? And I'm not asking you to. I'm not asking you to do it. I'm asking
honestly,
you if you want to.
I think in light of it being so conflicting, I think it at least opens the door to research or something, as opposed to a completely closed door. Because it sounds to me it's kind of am I correct in that it's a black and white? It's like at this point it's a completely closed door to any kind of research or anything. Am I correct in that?
I don't believe that that's the case. I think
Okay.
what we're primarily hung up on here is a property access from the
Okay.
standpoint of the owner.
General public access.
What the deed prohibits is establishment of trails and other related type of structures for the purpose of recreation.
Right.
There's nothing that I've read in here or that I feel is counter to the spirit of a conservation easement that would restrict certainly an individual with appropriate permissions from the owner, of course, being granted access for research purposes that are consistent with conservation values.
I think of as he states that, I think of Broadview Farm and the number of requests that I get annually for people that want to do projects on Broadview, and we have to approve all of them. We have one kind of pending right now. So that's the model I was thinking of when I tried to get you maybe to reconsider your motion, where someone could petition the property owner to use the property for a specific purpose at a specific time on a specific date with specific criteria. I understand that it's not a recreation area, and I don't think it should be. So I was trying to get closer to that. That's what I was trying to get closer to. So if that's not the appetite of the commission, then we just roll with this thing the way it is and we vote it. If it is the appetite of the commission, then let's take another look at it. Go ahead, Eileen.
Can I just comment? I appreciate what Cheryl has said, and I just wanted to add that certainly, and I know because of 30 years working alongside the State Division of Fish and Game, I know how they operate. And I know they're going to either themselves, their staff members are going to go out and monitor the wildlife species that are out there, or they're going to contract with a professional, i.e. a researcher, to go out and conduct surveys.
Yeah, well, with us. I mean, they contract with us to do that stuff.
They either could contract with us, but typically they contract with professional biologists from companies in New Hampshire to go out and monitor those species and monitor the habitat and monitor the whole ecological environment out there. So there is going to be research out there. I feel quite confident that the easement allows for that under their purview, and that sort of thing is already going to happen. What I was hoping for is, and to kind of conjoin with what you had said about criteria, establish strict criteria perhaps that could be met to allow some sort of opportunity for our school children in Derry to be able to learn about endangered species on that property. That's just my personal opinion. So.
All right, I'm the gatekeeper. I want to move this along.
Yep.
It's almost quarter past. We have two options. We can vote this the way it is, or Cheryl, you can rework your amendment. I think that's where we are right now. So is that where we are? Looking at people, yes, that's where we are. So we can vote it as is, or we can vote it with a friendly amendment. It's up to you, Cheryl.
Okay, so what Eileen had just said was that is assumed that that kind of research would be happening. I just want to be sure that if I make a friendly amendment that we do not, move to have educational opportunities.
Without notice. You can have educational opportunities, it would just require notice.
So that already stands that way, that we can have them with, as long as there's notice.
If we'd have to get, so I think there's two things happening.
Right.
I think DES and Fish and Game don't have to tell anybody. They can go there anytime they want.
Regardless.
Yeah, they have to probably notify you, probably not ask permission.
Okay.
We would have to ask permission.
Right.
And it would have to be granted by the property owner at that time if we wanted to do something outside of their purview.
Outside of that.
Yeah.
And they have the right to say no.
Yeah, they have the right to say no. Right.
Well, then I would, as it sounds like it sounds like it's more open than I was suggesting, because I think I don't know how realistic that is actually. So I guess if it makes sense, I would amend to say that there would be criteria and an opportunity to petition the owner for something outside of what DES would automatically have the right to do, so that if they see fit.
Or Fish and Game would have the right to
Fish and Game,
because
right.
they're going to be very involved in wildlife habitat management.
There would just be the opportunity, to be able to petition the owner.
How about something like this? How about with the approval of the property owner, Conservation Commission could request access to the conservation property to do research and educational activities. How's that sound?
That sounds good.
All right, so we're gonna take the motion that you originally made and take that out and put this in?
Yes.
All right, so I need you to add that as a friendly amendment?
Yes, I'm adding as a friendly amendment.
Okay, so now we need a vote on the friendly amendment. Is there a second on the friendly amendment? There's a second by Bob on the friendly amendment. So first on the floor to a friendly amendment from Cheryl, seconded by Bob. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstentions, motion carries. Going back to the original amendment, I think I want to read it again, Ricky,
All right.
please.
Move to amend the agreement.
Hold on, I'm going to stop you.
Yeah.
What?
Move to approve this to send to the town council with the following amendments. Number one, 2% interest addition per year to the $1,000 annual stipend. Number two, report annually during the month of September to the owner of record of the property using our own report form. Number three, renumber the second section 12 to 14 and change following numbers accordingly. Number four, mitigation. Applicant agrees Derry Conservation Commission not responsible for cost of third-party deficiencies discovered during our annual assessment. Number five, the monitoring of the easement shall be on a every 10-year period. And finally, with approval of property owner, Conservation Commission could ask for permission to conduct research on the property.
So there's a first on the floor. Is there a second? I'll second. Discussion on the motion. The applicant has something to say. Go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Point of clarity on the 5-10 year, that would be that the stewardship plan shall be reviewed on a 10-year schedule.
So noted. Any other discussion on the motion? Because I believe that this motion and vote is going to be highly scrutinized, we're going to do a roll call vote on this motion. We'll start to my right. Cheryl, yay. A yay vote means that we are asking the town council to accept the conservation easement on Ashleigh Drive. A no vote is we are recommending to the town council to not accept the easement on Ashleigh Drive. Those are your votes. Yay or
With
nay?
the conditions that were read.
With the
Is a
conditions.
yay. I'm a yay.
Okay. Jay,
Yes.
Mr. Metz,
Pass.
Yes.
are you abstaining?
No,
You're a no?
I'm passing to come back to me at the end.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Yes.
Bob's a yes. Eileen?
No.
Eileen's a no. No. No more votes. Back to you, Mr. Metz.
The taxpayer part of me says no. But I can't wear that hat today. I can't, because it's a Conservation Commission. Now that we've had this discussion and we've done these amendments, I will vote yes to send it to the council.
Mr. Metz votes yes. Further discussion on that motion before I vote. Thank you, applicants. Conservation Commission is primarily responsible for keeping clean water in the town of Derry, with other ancillary responsibilities of protecting wildlife, protecting open space, and protecting habitat. I feel that this checks more boxes than it doesn't, and though I don't love it, I will also be a yes vote. Ms. Secretary, what is the roll? Is it 5? 5 yes, 2 no, so the motion carries. So next stop is to the town council. They can take or not take our recommendation.
Okay.
But you guys are up in front of them.
Thank you
next.
very much for the time this evening. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Thanks.
Thank you, guys.
We're going to take a 5-minute recess. right, we are back in session, and we are going to, it is 8:25. That took a little longer than we had anticipated, but it was a worthy discussion.
I think it was worthy.
Very worthy discussion, passionate discussion. I think we got where we needed to get. All right. Community Gardens, Jay.
Yes, we had a meeting of the Community Garden Subcommittee on Monday, March 9th, last Monday. There were 5 present, including one of the gardeners that we had invited, Karen Bennett. It was really showing that things are heating up as far as action time and planning. We're trying to procure organic matter, and I happen to have had a neighbor right across the street from me that has cows, and they offered 12 loads, quote unquote, but I don't know what that, we didn't really know what that meant, so I have to go over and talk to him about what he would give us, also to take a sample of the manure, which the UNH Soil Lab does test. We working on solutions for the fall leaves from the cemetery, how to apply the manure and tilling it in, laying it on the surface and tilling it in seemed to be acceptable. Also working on a framework for events during the year where we did more focus on the spring event, which will kind of be a cascade of events that occur once it's decided it's time to till. And that will occur during the midweek, and then on probably the Saturday after that, we'll have a staking event where people will be helping out to stake the plots, and Beth will demonstrate building a raised bed. And then we'll have a plant exchange, and then the gardeners will be able to go in and start planting. And there'll be other events and other information that will develop in time. I had taken 3 or 4 pages of pretty intense notes, so I'm going to put together an agenda for our for this meeting in this next 2 meetings, which will again be April 13th, I think, so that we'll have a clear record. So we're looking forward to the gardening season coming up. It's coming very fast. Also, we're going to be doing some, we discussed the Facebook and communications with the gardeners, and also education. We agreed on having a sowing seeds sessions. Several of us are going to meet. Linda's going to film us as we talk and discuss and plant the seeds that we've chosen. That will happen over the next month. And we'll put that onto our public Facebook page and the gardening. That's it.
Thank you, Jay. Mr. Metz, Personnel.
Personnel is status quo as far as I know. They're both still here, and they're present tonight. So between Tammy and Beth, they're both doing a good job.
This is going to be Tammy. Tammy's running after that. She's arrived.
I got notes, Tammy. I'll have to tell you what they are, but
let's thank Tammy. She's got writer's cramp after that discussion. She has 2 notebooks full.
That's all I have on personnel.
Thank you, Mr. Metz. Public outreach, Cheryl.
So we posted again for this meeting. We posted on our Facebook page notifying the public that we are meeting. We will do that every time, a day or 2 before the meeting. If any of us have seen Margaret Ives' presentation of being honored, that got a lot more response than anything else we ever get. So that says to me that people are interested in people and people that are involved in the commission. So, to Jay's point, I think going forward, and we have a bunch of ideas, a bunch of us. We have been trying to find a regular meeting time with Linda, myself, and Eileen, and Beth is joining us. So we're working on that. We're close. We're close. Once we get that time in our schedule, I think we'll be good to really implement these ideas. But really going forward with, the thought of whether it's gardeners, people on the commission, people like reading about people. They're actually really interested in people in the community. So that will be a focus.
Okay, thank you, Cheryl. Mr. Metz, TRC.
TRC, 2 Fridays ago, we met and discussed 20.5 Robert Frost, or Frost Road. It's a multi-lot subdivision. They will be before us in the future. I'm not sure when they will be before us because their plans are kind of incomplete. Beth was there for her first time. Between all the departments, I think she got a good idea of what goes on at those meetings and how in-depth planning and zoning are in this town. But Frost Road will be before us, I think, probably 2 meetings, maybe 3 meetings from now. We also, 10 Manchester Road is another one. It was canceled that day because of the weather. I don't know if they did that this Friday. I was away, and the email had the last date on it, the 6th, rather than the 13th, so I'm not sure if they met on it. 10 Manchester Road is a demolition reconstruction of a new building. I did look at the plans, and I had my questions about silt fences, drainage socks, all those kind of things, and those all seem to be included in the plans they had. So if there is a TRC and there's follow-up notes, I'll make sure I read those. We do have one coming up the 27th, and it is 14 A Street. So I'll keep you posted and let you know what we have to do with that one. That's it.
Thank you, Mr. Metz. State compliance, Eileen.
Okay, I have a few things. To students that are out there that are looking for summer opportunities, there's paid summer internship opportunities with DES available for students in science, engineering, computer science, business, education, journalism, media, and public relations. The application deadline is March 23rd, and you can just go to the DES website if you're interested. Also, the state also has, at DES website, a complete list of lakes and ponds that's now available. It's called New Hampshire's official list of public waters, which you can view if there's a link right on DES that you can view the list. And also DES has developed a 2024 to 2029 wetland program plan, which serves to strengthen, improve, and better protect New Hampshire's aquatic resources. And they have some core elements that they're going to address for 2026, developing a standard operating procedure to evaluate wetland water quality standards effectiveness. They're going to provide selection criteria for wetlands water quality permit inspection follow-up, and link the permit compliance program to monitor sensitive and valuable wetlands and stream systems. They're also going to measure and track compliance rates for wetlands permits. They're going to review and update best management practices for wetlands. And also, there's going to be available on the DES website, there is available, a 7-minute video offering tips to consider for standard dredge and fill wetland permit applications in New Hampshire. There's also wetlands rules training that's available right on the website for stream crossings, and that has to do with rules environmental WT 900. So that's my report.
Thank you, Eileen.
Yep.
All right, property management, we have got notification from a butter to a conservation property, and Beth is going to tell you about that.
Okay.
That's the only thing we have on property maintenance. I'm sorry. Yeah, property management. Bob, do you know that we broke up those two things, right? Dealing with, we broke up the two land maintenance and
Yep.
property, okay. All right.
Yep.
So I'm dealing more with when people have a question about what they can and can't do.
Yep.
And then, so that's all we had coming in. And then you're up for land maintenance, Bob? Your report, if you have one.
We had a meeting the other night of some of the people that are looking to become land stewards.
Oh, great, wonderful.
But with the snow on the ground, it's still not like we're gonna get out there and do anything immediately. So, it is melting fast, but, we'll get out there as soon as we got some open grounds.
Nice. Thank you.
It's exciting.
Thanks, Bob. Land acquisition, we have 3 properties currently under kind of surveillance, if you will, and we're going to go over those in our non-public. Just as a heads up, it's 8:35. We were slated to end at 8:30 tonight, so if you have to tell a loved one or somebody that's expecting you at a certain time, I would say that we're going to be out of here by about 10 minutes of 9, just if you want to adjust your schedule. Reporting compliance, Val sent me an email saying that she wasn't feeling great, and there's nothing on Net Zero Task Force. Got together with the Land Maintenance Committee last week to discuss planning and had a CWPP walk on Saturday through the Weber Forest. Please excuse her absence. That's from Val. Okay, Beth, you're up.
All right, so we had a resident reach out about, actually, this is the resident at 15 Pond Road whom we had some trees taken down for at our expense last year. And he's reached out again about some other trees, and he wants to have them felled at his expense this time. But we'll just need to grant him permission to do that with a letter, if you all decide to approve of that. I can provide photos if you need them. And let's see, the
Beth, you want to take that up now?
yeah.
Yeah, let's take that up. So,
Is that on Willow?
No, that's next to Shepherd Park.
Oh.
So yeah, there's some ash trees that are dead, and that it's a property that abuts the Shepherd parcel. Yep.
so can I get a motion that we allow the property owner adjacent to that property to take the trees down at his expense?
I move that we allow the abutter to the Shepherd property to take the trees, affected ash trees that have died, to be removed at their expense.
So there's a first and a second. All's in favor, say aye.
Yes. Aye.
Yes, aye.
Any opposition?
With the caveat is that, what are they gonna do with the brush? They can take the firewood, certainly, but the brush needs to be either distributed or away from the boundary line.
The
I
slash.
think it's
yeah.
20 feet, I think.
Right.
All right,
So
you
Bob, I
wanna-
can speak to that. I don't know if you would like me to read the contents of the like boilerplate letter that we have actually includes verbiage about that the
Okay.
slash needs to be
All right.
disposed in accordance with like the state.
I just wanted to be.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's good.
Okay, great. So, all right, so let's call the vote one more time. All's in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Unanimous.
Great.
Thanks, Beth.
Okay, so Troop 405 reached out about using the bonfire area, the silo at Broadview, on Easter for their sunrise event, and I guess you all need to vote to grant them permission for that. I'm not sure if that requires a vote or exactly how that works, but they reached out, and so something we need to get back to them.
And we're going to ask them to maybe do a little extra
Yes.
cleanup. They offered to clean up after themselves, and we're going to ask them to clean up after maybe some other folks
Yeah,
too.
they actually did. They offered to do some trash pickup. I guess the impression that I got was like a general, like more than just their own trash, but like a general trash pickup. Do we
might
want to
even give 'em-
specify anything about that? Like, yeah.
And we might even give them one more task or so that we come up with between now and then. All right, can I have a motion on that? Easter Sunday morning for the Boy Scouts?
405.
Move to approve Troop 405, use of Broadview Farm Easter morning.
Second.
There's a first and a second. Mr. Metz and Cheryl. All those in favor say aye.
All right.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. Thanks, Beth. Keep going.
And then a resident reached out saying that there was some barbed wire found at Cole Marsh. We don't need a vote on that, but just wanted to make you all aware of that and that we are looking into that to make it safe. And let's see.
Actually, expand on that a little bit, because I thought that was a cool offer that they made.
Yes, so there was a tree that came down over the winter that is blocking part of the trail. So people have been kind of walking around the tree off the trail, and this resident explained that the barbed wire is, kind of where the new unofficial trail is, if you will, and asked if it would be all right if they just put up some caution tape to just let people know that it's there in the interim while we, can deal, before we can take care of the tree and deal with the barbed wire. We're not sure if the barbed wire is like a property marker or like what the situation is, but we're gonna look deeper into it before we do anything substantive, yeah.
But I thought that was nice that they offered to
Yeah.
do that with the caution tape. That's a concerned constituent. I like that a lot.
Yeah.
Keep going, Beth.
Yeah, and then, so you all have, or there should be a land lease floating around that will require a vote for us to present to the town administrator to present to the town council. So the farmer who, his name is Chris Leclerc, he has worked with Phil Ferdinando for the last 27 years. Farming. He has been the one actually like going to the Broadview, that cornfield that's in Broadview. He has been the person farming that, and he reached out to us a while ago about, if he would be able to continue to work that land either for himself or for J&F Farms, because he's not able to to speak yet about what the plans of the Ferdinando family are as far as like what they will be doing farming wise. So he reached out to us and we thought, Rick and I discussed and thought that having a formal lease of some kind, in the past, the commission had more of like a handshake agreement with Phil Ferdinando.
No more handshake agreements.
Right.
We're gonna eliminate all of those.
Yeah, so there is a lease there. If you all would like more time to look it over, you certainly can. Or if you would like to vote on it tonight to present to the town administrator, the process would be that, so nobody has signed it yet. The farmer hasn't looked at it yet either. But the process would be that you all look at it.
The town has already looked at it.
The town, yes. So, yes, exactly. Yep. The town administrator has looked at it, and his suggested changes are in the document that you all have. So.
All right, so let's. We want to take that up. I take a motion that we accept this agricultural land lease agreement and send it to the city council for approval. Town council for approval.
And is this for
City.
this specific piece of property? This is not a boilerplate that we're going to use in the future?
No, everyone.
We could certainly take from it in the future, but it's specific, yeah.
One or two edits, I'll get together with her.
Okay.
But we can still take the vote on
Sure.
it, but it's just minor edits.
Move to approve the agricultural land lease agreement for Broadview Farm.
I second it.
First and second, first by Mr. Metz, second by Jay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. Keep going, Beth.
All right, and then last on my list is we got some complaints from some residents about the dog waste issue at Broadview. Truly, I've talked about it so much that I can't remember if I mentioned it at the last meeting or just in other various meetings. But So I did look into what that process would look like if the commission wanted to either, have a rule made for a conservation property or suggest to the town council that a dog waste ordinance be created for Derry. So just for background, there currently is there's no town ordinance that says that a dog owner must pick up after their dog. We checked and it does not fall under the litter law. And yeah, there's just nothing said about it in our town ordinances. So we checked with Tina Gulliford and she said the process would look like this. Conservation Commission would need to discuss if there are rules they would like on conservation properties in a public meeting and the various methods of enforcement. They would need to vote to make that recommendation to town council, and you would give those results to our town administrator and he would take it from there. Conservation only has purview over the property it oversees. It could request that the council look at it from a town-wide view, but that would be up to the council.
So in discussions with Beth and Mike on this, my suggestion would be, and we'll still take a vote on it. I don't think it's a conservation only problem. I think there's plenty of parks in town that have probably similar problems that we don't have purview on. So I would urge the commission to vote to recommend to the town council that they take it up as a town-wide ordinance to include conservation properties in that ordinance. So it'll be town properties and conservation properties. That's my suggestion. If anyone else wants to chime in on that. Anyone disagree with that?
I think, just from my experience, conservation commissions can adopt rules for how they manage their conservation lands, and that includes dog waste. Absent of any town rules, you said there's no town rules, but we can, as a commission, adopt rules for managing our conservation properties, if we so choose.
Yeah, they said that. They suggested that to us.
That said, I do agree that there's probably more properties in town besides conservation lands that need looking after in terms of dog waste. I just hope that the process won't be so slow that we don't get it addressed in a timely manner. And I say that because I think it's really important. As a commission, we've decided that we are on board with the landscape scale management initiative. We're working with Barbara Richter from NHACC, and failure to address the dog waste situation, I think, is going to hamper that implementation of that initiative a great deal. So I really hope that if we're going to urge the town council to take this up, that they do so in a very timely manner.
So we can always revisit it if we feel like, and I want to make sure I explained it completely because I may not have, Eileen. So the town suggested that we take it up as a commission.
Okay.
Or that we can take it up as a commission.
Yes, because we can.
But of course we can. We didn't need them to tell us that we can take it up as a commission. What I think is that because it's not just a commission issue, I think it's a town issue, that the town should take it up and then include conservation properties in their ordinance. And if we feel that they're doing that slowly, then we can always take it up as a commission. So
It'll make it easier for enforcement too, if it's kind of a town-wide.
That's my problem.
ruling.
Yeah, that's
Because
my.
then they don't have to be, it's just conservation,
It won't be parceled out, you're right. Yep.
just,
Yep.
So
It'll
if
be
it's a
across
town
the board.
ordinance, the town
I just want it to
regulators
be
can
in a
do it.
timely manner.
Yeah,
there may be
I agree.
exceptions, but that
Yeah.
can be,
Yep.
So it shouldn't be too long. It's 2 readings. I mean, it's not I don't think it shouldn't take too long, right?
No.
Yeah. We could try. If we don't like the way, if it's going too slow, we'll bring it back.
The issue I have is how are we going to enforce it?
Well, that's why I want it to be a town ordinance, because then they have to enforce it.
I understand that.
Exactly.
And how are they going to enforce it? So it's going to be pretty weak, if anything.
I think it would. It's probably going to go with the animal control officer. That's
Right.
probably going to be the enforcement mechanism.
So here's my way of
And
It
enforcement.
depends on because the ordinance has not been created yet, so that the specifics of how it will be enforced will actually be in the code.
And couldn't we be proactive, again, about we're the stewards of our conservation properties? Couldn't we be proactive and provide a mechanism to encourage the public proactively to do the right thing with their dog waste, i.e. have a roll of, poop bags and a signage that says, encourages them to pick up after their dog.
I think Beth already did that.
The rail trail does that.
Oh.
And if you read any social media this past week,
I don't see anything at
apparently-
Broadview.
No, we haven't done that.
it's
From
everywhere,
the
yeah.
snow.
No, you have a sign at Broadview.
I don't see anything at Broadview.
We have a sign about dogs running at large at Broadview,
Oh,
so we
right.
brought that up at a
But we don't
previous
have the
meeting.
dog poop.
But we don't, yeah, because when we posted the sign about dogs running at large, we decided to post an existing ordinance, right, rather than come up with a new rule of our own that then we would have to enforce, like a leash law, which is, that would be a whole other thing. So we just decided to take what the ordinance is that's already on the books and post it
that,
for people's knowledge at Broadview. But we don't currently have anything posted at Broadview or anywhere else that I'm aware about dog waste. Yeah.
When did common sense not, follow that?
Yeah.
I can't answer that
But it's
question. I'm sorry.
Carry in, carry out, it goes same with
Rick,
your
it's not
dogs.
happening.
Yeah.
I
I
understand
guess
that.
That's
yeah,
why
there
there's
is a sign
complaints.
that says carry in, carry
So when
out.
the dogs are licensed, we collect their DNA and we match it up and we find them.
There you go.
That's right.
How's that for an expensive
Bring in the
ordinance?
National Guard.
Some of the larger cities.
We should be proactive and try to
Bring in the National
encourage
Guard.
voluntary
I'm with you
action
on that
on
one.
it. Okay.
Yes.
I told Beth, I had a constituent call me that won't go to Broadview anymore because of the smell of urine there is so bad and
And
there's
that's
so
why
much
we
dog
need to
waste.
address it. I mean,
Yeah.
we really do.
And that's what we're doing. So any more discussion? Do we want to take it up on our own? Do we want the town to take it up? What is the appetite of the commissioners?
Town and we're part of.
We're push it to the town? Okay, let's hear a motion, Mr. Metz.
Move to encourage the town to develop a dog waste ordinance that pertains to all town properties to include conservation properties.
Can I give you a friendly amendment?
Sure.
Have the land manager write a letter to the president of the town council and CC the town.
If I may.
Absolutely.
Yes, just because Tina did let us know what the specific process would be, and so I think that would probably be helpful to have in your motion. So they would need to vote to make a recommendation to the town council, and you would give those results to our town administrator. So if you all just vote to make the recommendation to the town council, then I can just let the town administrator know that you all have done that, and then he will take it from there.
You want to rescind your motion, make a new one?
Sure, let's start. Did it get seconded?
No.
It didn't get seconded, so.
No.
Move to recommend that the town council to establish a
Law.
dog waste law, a dog waste ordinance for all town properties to include dairy conservation properties.
Okay, that's a nice motion. Is there a second? Second by Bob. So Metz made the motion, Bob made the second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposition? You're opposing?
Yeah, I just don't agree. I'm sorry.
That's okay, you
I
don't have to be
just
sorry.
larger animals.
Sure. Yeah, just on the mic, please.
Sorry about that.
Go ahead, you
I'm
can
sorry
get,
about that. No, I have a horse, so I just don't want it to,
Yeah.
and I don't have I'm in the woods a lot, so I just find it's another rule. Not that I'm against the conservation, but that particular one, I don't have a problem with it. I mean, I just don't.
okay.
But it
So-
just might
This
be
is
a-
for dogs, not
This is for
horses,
dogs,
so,
but I also
yeah.
feel like it will maybe eventually, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I do.
No, I just think, I don't have a problem with it. I'm in New Hampshire.
All right, so we have one, so
Sorry?
you're a nay, not an
I'm a
abstention.
nay, but
You're
I
a nay.
don't want to go, is that?
Okay.
6-1.
Well, we're going to
So you have
vote,
that,
so.
you have the vote? All right, so
The nay.
it passes with one nay.
Yep.
Sorry.
Carry on, Beth, you don't have to be sorry.
And that is all I had, but I did want to just mention that at our land maintenance committee meeting, we did come up with a pretty great schedule for the year where we have 4 properties. That the goal is to address 4 properties this year, one of them being Broadview, and another being the Margie Ives conservation property as well. And then the other 2 are properties that land stewards have stepped up to help with, so Cole Marsh and Weber Forest.
Thank you, Beth. All right, we do not have a council liaison report. As far as administrative business, our next meeting is April 6th, and then we have one on April 20th. You see all the proposed meeting dates there? I'm trying to get way ahead of us for the summer so everybody can mark their calendars and we have a full commission. For other business, I forgot to tell you this, Beth, so I'll tell it on the record. I had a constituent reach out to me that when we bought the Sawyer property, the town carved out a single housing lot to be sold at a future date that this constituent said would make a really good parking lot. So could you,
Or parking lot would be for.
for Sawyer,
Oh,
for the
wow.
Sawyer
for
property,
the Sawyer property, yeah.
which is the one to the right side
Right
of
side.
the trail, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. We already have a little parking lot there.
Yeah, we have like a pull-off. Yeah.
But
Oh, it's-
So that, just, I want you to snoop around with, find out what the deal is on that.
do we have public access on the Stewart, on the Sawyer property? It was my understanding we didn't even have public access on that.
What, can it be used, you mean, recreationally?
I.e., yes, because when we originally did that property, that property owner had reservations about anyone going on the property because she had horses, and she didn't, again, it was like a liability issue. She didn't even want people to just kind of, because we asked, could we have a path around where you have the horses training and stuff, just to get around, like the perimeter? And she said no. So,
I thought we only weren't allowed in the horse paddock area. I thought the rest of the property was accessible.
no, I don't believe it is.
We can look at it. Beth,
But
can you
if
look
we
at
could
that?
look at, if you
Yeah.
can check that, Beth, that-
Yeah, check that and then check what's going on with that lot. I was under the impression that this constituent was visiting the Sawyer property regularly, so if that's the case, I'll report back to him.
maybe they are, but maybe they're not.
Yeah, they're not
They
supposed
don't
to.
have permission.
He's an ex-counselor too, so he should know better. Okay, let's see what we got. What else we have? All right, that's all I have. We do have a non-public. It's going to be fairly brief. Is there anything else from the floor on other business? If there is not, I will entertain a motion to go.
Move to go into non-public session per RSA 91A, paragraph 3, section 2, for the purpose of discussing land acquisition.
Okay, there's a motion on the floor to go into non-public. Is there a second?
Second.
There's a second, first by Mr. Metz, second by Cheryl. This requires a roll call vote. We'll start-
Mr. Chair, I'm so sorry. I forgot to mention a very important thing for the public before we go into non-public. I'm sorry.
Absolutely, we're still on discussion on the
Thank
motion. Motion.
Okay, thank you. So on Wednesday, March 25th, so next Wednesday, we're hosting a discussion panel about the Community Wildfire Protection Plan. So this is going to be an opportunity for the public to come learn about the plan, learn about what our wildfire risk is in Derry, and get some, be able to ask some questions of the experts that will be in the room there. And that is Wednesday, March 25th at 7 p.m. right here in this room.
All right, good, and that's been up I think that's been up most of the meeting, too.
Okay.
Yeah, good.
Thank you. Apologize.
That's okay. All right, so there's a first on the floor by Mr. Metz, second by Ms. Holbert, and we need a roll call. We're going to start all the way to my right. Chris is not seated.
Oh, yes.
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 Okay, and chair votes yes, so that's unanimous. Now we're going to invite the alternates. We don't have to invite, but we do have to invite the land manager if she wants to hang around.
Yep.
Move to invite Beth Carver into the non-public.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right, so first by Mr. Metz, second by Eileen. Roll call again to my right.
Yes.
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 Well,
Yes.
Eileen,
You're going to be here.
yea or nay?
Oh,
Yay or nay?
yay or nay for what?
Allowing
Invite-
Beth to
Oh,
sit in.
yes. Yeah, I seconded the motion, so yes.
Yes, so that is unanimous. Also, we are in non-public.